As populations throughout the world become more affluent, they consume greater numbers of animal products. The globalization of Western systems of intensive livestock production is spurring on this trend, increasing the availability of cheap meat. This phenomenon can be seen in India, where the spread of industrial livestock facilities, particularly in the poultry sector, is eroding the country's 2,000-year-old culture of vegetarianism. India now is among the top 5 producers of meat chickens in the world and produced 2.25 million metric tons of poultry meat in 2009. Demand from India's growing middle class is fueling the growth of packaged and frozen chicken meat. Nutrich Chicken is one such brand that is targeting wealthier consumers in the nation's capital of Delhi and is available in Walmart and local Reliance chain stores. The chickens live out their short lives, roughly 40 days, in sheds where they are housed by the thousands. They are then transported to Nutrich's processing plant, where workers slaughter and process the birds. Many of the workers are migrant laborers from Nepal who live on site and return home once a year. On the processing floor, over half the plant's workers are women from nearby areas. A handful of corporate entities control India's burgeoning poultry sector, and as in factory farms across the world, corporations work to replace indigenous breeds with international hybrids. 3 multinational companies currently own 90% of the breeds used in India's poultry industry. According to Humane Society International, India has more than 200 million egg-laying hens, the vast majority of whom spend their lives confined to battery cages. It is estimated that by the end of 2009, India will have produced 47.4 billion eggs. There are battery cage facilities throughout the country, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, and Haryana being the hotspots of egg production. These facilities range in size from 10 to 150,000 birds. Life at the battery farms follows a strict timeline. The hens arrive in the facilities as day-old chicks and start producing eggs when they are about 6 months old. They continuously produce eggs until they are 18 months old, at which point they are typically slaughtered and sold. The conditions in these battery cage facilities are distressing. It is not uncommon for the birds, who are agitated and tightly confined, to be covered in sores from rubbing against the cages day after day. The workers in the facilities do not typically wear masks to protect them from the ammonia, dust, feathers, and other particulates in the air, and many of them manage the facilities in sandals or barefoot. The intensive farming of India's broiler and battery cage chickens is no small feat. The process requires major inputs of grain, electricity, and water, and produces significant amounts of poultry waste. Soy and corn are poultry feed staples and come largely from the big agricultural states of Bihar, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, and Himachal Pradesh. The country's largest feed mill is located in Haryana and packages 10,000 tons of grain each month. India's booming poultry feed industry and the high global commodity price of soy are attracting more and more of India's farmers to soy farming. As of last year, farmers planted soy on 9 million hectares of India's agricultural land. The automation and refrigeration associated with industrial livestock processing requires more electricity than traditional slaughtering methods. Water is another important input, and it is not uncommon for plants to use as much as 80 to 90,000 liters of water per day for scalding, defeathering, washing, and freezing the birds. This allocation of resources raises important issues of equity, particularly in light of the severe droughts that plagued India this past summer. Though some modern slaughterhouses in India do have their own wastewater treatment plants, on the farms themselves, water and waste runoff often collect on site, leading to problems of surface and groundwater contamination. While it is common for local farmers to visit the sites to pick up poultry manure to use as fertilizer, this process is rarely regimented. As a result, the manure accumulates outside of the facilities and can be carried away with rainwater runoff, polluting neighboring fields and waterways.